Hi, this is Marcus, and welcome to this week's video. We're going to be doing a video on AIARTY Image Enhancement software. The company reached out to me a few weeks ago and asked me would I be interested in looking at their software. My policy is, and my promise to my subscribers, is that I would never do a video on any hardware or software of something that I've never owned, don't currently own, or have never used. So the company agreed to give me the software, but they did not have any input on this video. They didn't even require me to come out and do a video of praising how great the software is. They just wanted me to try it and say, if it's something that you're going to be using, please do a video on it. And I thought that was more than fair. When I initially ran this software, I was taken back of how good it was. And so what I did was, normally I will take about 2 to 3 weeks just to look at some software, but I quickly put this into my workflow, right? And I am just amazed at how good this software is. Now, currently I subscribe to Topaz Live, and I have their suite of software that do roughly the same thing this software does. The only problem of it is this software is just as good, and it's more than half the price for a perpetual license. And the Topaz software is a subscription. Let's go ahead and get started. What I decided to do was do this test on 2 photos that was taken with the medium format camera. This photo was taken with the GFX 50S Mark II, and this photo was taken with the GFX 100S Mark II. This is a 102 megapixel photo. This one here is a 51 megapixel photo that I actually cropped as a 7:6 crop. This one here was shot at ISO 12,800. This photo is just totally out of focus. When I zoom into this, you can see that it misfocused completely. And in my opinion, this photo is unusable. It would not be something that I would even show the customer of something that I could deliver to them because it's so out of focus. And when you're using a medium format camera, the Hasselblad or the GFX, those sensors in those cameras is about 68% larger than the full frame. When you miss focus, it's really bad. And so what I'm going to do is process these 2 photos. Now, what AIARTY Image Enhancement software is not. It is not a replacement for Lightroom. It is not a replacement for Photoshop. It is not a replacement for Capture One. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just export these photos as TIFFs. And when I do that, we're going to then load it into the software as a standalone and just see how well it does. Now, Capture One does pre-processing on photos. You can see this photo is really soft. But if I take off the pre-sharpening that it did for this photo, which was 185, if I go ahead and drag that off, it gets really bad. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to just drag this off. I don't want any pre-processing done on the photo at all. No noise reduction or anything. Now, in the real world, if you're using a raw editor, you would want to do all of those things within that raw editor first, and then send it to AIARTY for it to actually add the improvements to it. The whole purpose of shooting raw is to take advantage of the information that's there. But I want to show you just how strong and how powerful the software is. So that one's out of focus. Let's go back to this one. This one is displaying a little bit of noise, but it's not that bad because of the pre-processing, right? For 12,800, this is really not bad. But watch this. When I start pulling this stuff off, you're going to see a whole bunch of color noise and everything that's coming into this photo. We're taking the sharpening off and all of the pre-processing for noise reduction. That looks totally different than what it looked like before. And so now what I'm going to do is grab both of these photos and I'm going to export these photos. And we're going to export them. And let's just go ahead and do that. When both photos are exported, you can see they're both being exported out. They have been exported. We're going to go ahead and close Capture One. There's no reason to have this open now. So now we're here inside of AIARTY. One thing that you should actually do, if I try to click on here and say that I want to use the local AI models only, you'll see that I get an error message. And it says the local models are not sufficient to complete the entire inference process. Please use download all models and try again. So what you should actually do is go here. What it's going to do is download the latest model that they actually have, and it'll do all the process here locally on your machine without having to go up to the cloud. So we're going to say download models, and these are all the ones that it can download. You can see there's a lot of different ones that they actually have available, right? And so all I'm going to say is let's download them. We're downloading all models, and it's not going to take that long to do that, but I would advise you to do that, and this will speed up your process when you want to be able to process these photos, and then you're doing it locally versus having to have a fast internet connection to be able to download it, because that'll slow you down. So all models have been downloaded. And now when I go in here and I say I want to process this photo, if I go in here, you can see all the ones that it actually has. Now the first thing we want to do is I'm going to tell it to use local. So that's been checked. And I'm only going to upscale this by 1 time so we can actually save a little bit of processing time, because remember, this is a 102 megapixel file. This one here was done with the GFX 100S Mark II. And I'm also going to turn on face restoration because of how out of focus this was. We're going to turn that on, and we're going to have this do fidelity. And of course, we can have it do gradient, overlay, or routine. We're going to stick with routine. And now we're going to tell this thing to start. And now we're going to go in here and we're going to actually increase this size so we can really take a look at this going 100%. Let's take a look at what it did. That is just totally amazing. Look at how out of focus this photo is. And again, when you're using a medium format camera, something that has a sensor that's 68% larger than a full frame, when you miss focus, it is catastrophic as far as how out of focus and how unusable the photo is. As you can see right here, that actually did a phenomenal job in bringing it back. Now, if you want to know the different AI models that it's got for processing, if you click this here, you'll see that it's giving you information on 3 of them. But if we actually go inside of the AI models, you're going to see more. So what I would recommend you to do is click this and then hit the guide. And when you hit the see guide, what it'll do is take you out there, and then it gives you all the information on the different AI models that they have. It'll tell you how far you can upscale them. It tells you what the custom resolution can be, and it tells you exactly what to expect from the AI models that you're actually using. And it's got all the information that you would actually need on this application. Let's just go back in here. Let's go ahead and close the browser. We're going to try every AI model with the exception of this one here. This is for AI generated images. We don't have any AI generated images doing this demonstration, so we won't be using that one, but we will be using the other ones. So if I go in here and click on version 2 of the GAN, and again, we're going to do this locally. That still looks amazing. If I go down here, you see you can't even read the necklace, but I can see it here with no problem. If I switch and go back to the previous version, it's already been rendered, so you don't have to render it again. You can see just how good that detail is. And then you can actually choose which one you want to actually export it from. And you can do batch processing as well. So we're going to go down to this one here, which is called Smooth Depth. We're going to run that locally. can see the smooth depth looks really good. The necklace is not as sharp as the previous two models. That's got sharper. We're going to use the one that's called Real Photo. Real Photo version 3 is used for photo restoration. Use it locally again. Now, based on the type of computer that you're using, if you have an M4 Pro or M5, your processing time is going to be faster. If you have an older model, your processing time will be a little bit more slower, but it still processes very quickly. And you can see that one came out extremely well. Compared to what it is right here, this is phenomenal. There are some other, we'll just say fit. And if we go back down here, you'll see that you have the ability to use a crop. And also for the processing, if you don't want it to be as strong. So let me just take you back up here. If I go back into this, and I'm going to have it going at 150. If I decide to pull this back, that takes away the strength and I'll have to reprocess it again, right? So sometimes you may come in this and you do it at 100% and it's too strong. So you can actually be at full strength and you can walk that back. They also give you the ability to be able to crop if you want to be able to crop with this. Of course, you can enable colors. Also, they have face restoration. I did use the face restoration because of how out of focus this is. It also has HDR as well. They have an AI experimental tool, which if you're trying to remove blemishes or remove things, again, this is not Photoshop. It doesn't pretend to be Photoshop. But let's say, for instance, we wanted to remove this mark off our head. I could go ahead and enable that. Go ahead and grab the mask, go up here, what that would actually be, and just highlight that like this. We tell it that it's finished. We saw how I did it with the pre, and then we go in here and hit start, and now it's going to process it again, and it'll put it. So the thing that it does first, when you're doing any kind of AI eraser, you're going to do it on the before photo, and then you see how it looks on the before photo, then you apply it, and then you go ahead and you use the AI models to go ahead and do the restoration of that photo. And that's how that works. And you can see that it removed that black mark that was on the forehead. Also, you have the ability to add text if that's what you wanted to be able to do with that as well. So what we're going to do with this is I'm just going to say finished. I didn't add anything else to this, so I don't have to re-render it again. We're going to get off of this photo, and we're going to go here. We're going to bring this photo in as soon as we get a chance to. We're going to use a local AI model. We're going to go back up here to this version 3, and I'm going to tell it to start. And then we're going to zoom in 200% so you can see the amazing job that it's going to do on this photo. Let's go in here. Let's go to 200%. Look at the difference of what it actually did. Now remember, inside of Capture One, we removed any pre-processing. You can see a bunch of different color noise and defringement inside of that photo, but look what it was able to do. How well it was able to restore that photo. Look at here. This is amazing. And for the price being half the price of what Topaz Labs are, and I'm actually doing some testing with the video version of this as well. That'll be coming in the next 3 weeks. I want to make sure that I do a very good thorough test. But I've already included this software into my workflow. Anytime I need to increase a photo and be able to make sure that it's got the right type of processing as far as clarity and restoration. This is just phenomenal. Again, this was done with a medium format camera. and it was shot at 12,800. So I won't go through the different models to show you because it'll be kind of redundant. I will just go through one. I'm going to take it all the way down to the one that's called Smooth Depth. We'll go ahead and run that one. But you've seen me go through the different AI models on the other photo. And so you are able to see just what a good job it actually did. And we're going to look at this one here. Here again, this one's the smooth one, but just look at the detail. There's no noise in this photo whatsoever. This is giving you that fine art look. So I can't stress enough, this is a definite for those that are in the market that need something that will give you the ability to restore photos, be able to increase the size, and you want to have a very good looking photo when you do that. This is one to strongly considering. And look at the price between this and look at the price between Topaz Lab. I just wanted to share that information with you. Remember, I will never do a video on any hardware or software that I've never owned, currently own, or have used in my professional business. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button and click the notifications.